there, and welcome to the Retirement Wealth Podcast. We're really glad you're joining us today. If you've ever thought about how to create a steady stream of income in retirement, you're in the right place.
Absolutely, Emily. Building a passive income portfolio from scratch can seem a little daunting, but it's not as complicated as it might sound.
Right? And the great thing is, it can really set you up for a comfortable retirement. We'll be diving into some practical steps, strategies, and even a few common pitfalls to avoid.
Yes, and we'll also touch on the importance of diversifying your investments, understanding your risk tolerance, and how to align your income strategy with your retirement goals.
It's all about creating a plan that works for you, isn't it?
Exactly. Everyone's situation is unique, so finding that personalized approach is key.
And we'll break it all down in a way that's easy to understand, even if you're starting from scratch. So whether you're just beginning to think about retirement or you've already taken those first steps, there's something for everyone today.
Let's get started. We'll begin by discussing what passive income really is and how it can fit into your overall retirement strategy.
Perfect. So first off, let's define passive income and explore some common sources.
So, Emily, when we talk about building a passive income portfolio, it's really crucial to understand why that's especially important right now. I mean, with so many folks nearing retirement or already in it, they're facing a lot of uncertainties.
Absolutely, David. I think a lot of people are feeling that pinch, especially with the rising inflation we've seen lately. It really eats into what they thought would be a comfortable retirement income.
Right. And it's not just inflation. The market volatility we've experienced recently can be pretty concerning. I mean, we've seen highs and lows that can make anyone anxious about their savings.
Yes! It's like a roller coaster ride. I recently spoke with a couple, let's call them Tom and Lisa. They had a solid nest egg, but were really worried about the fluctuations in their investments. They were wondering if they'd have enough to last through their retirement.
That's a common concern, isn't it? Tom and Lisa are not alone. Many people are realizing that relying solely on Social Security might not cut it anymore, especially with potential changes coming down the pipeline.
Exactly. The Social Security system is under a lot of pressure, and benefits might not be what they used to be. It's a wake-up call for many retirees to think about their own income strategies.
And let's not forget about healthcare costs, which are just skyrocketing. I mean, a recent study showed that a couple retiring today could expect to spend over $300,000 on healthcare alone during retirement. That's a significant amount.
Wow, that really puts things into perspective. It's no wonder people are worried. They're trying to figure out how to make their money last, and that's where passive income can play a vital role.
Exactly. A well-structured passive income portfolio can provide a buffer against inflation and market swings. It allows retirees to have a more predictable income stream, one that doesn't solely rely on the ups and downs of the stock market.
Right, and I think that emotional aspect is often overlooked. Feeling financially secure can really impact your overall quality of life in retirement. You want to enjoy those years, not spend them stressed about money.
Absolutely. I had a client, let's call him John, who was really feeling the weight of financial insecurity. He had a decent retirement plan, but realized that without supplemental income, he'd be constantly worried about his spending. Once we started focusing on passive income strategies, it lifted a huge burden off his shoulders.
That's such a great example. It's about peace of mind, right? Having that extra layer of security can help you enjoy your hobbies, travel, or spend time with family without that nagging worry.
For sure. And speaking of spending time with family, legacy planning is another aspect that's becoming more significant. People want to leave something behind for their children or grandchildren, and passive income can also help facilitate that.
Right. It's not just about the here and now. It's about building something that lasts. I mean, I've met retirees who want to create a college fund for their grandkids, or even help their children buy a home.
Exactly. And when you consider the current economic trends, it's clear that having multiple streams of income is becoming increasingly critical. The traditional retirement plan just isn't as reliable as it once was.
Yes. I think it's also worth mentioning the flexibility passive income can provide. If you have income sources that aren't tied to your labor, you can make decisions based on what you want to do rather than what you have to do.
That's a powerful point. Imagine being able to say no to a part-time job because you have enough passive income coming in. That freedom can be life-changing.
It really can. And it's all about being proactive. The sooner someone starts building their passive income portfolio, the better prepared they'll be for unforeseen challenges down the road.
Well said. It's like planting a tree. The best time to plant it was years ago, and the second best time is now.
Exactly. And with the right strategies, it's possible to build that income stream even if you're starting from scratch.
Right, so transitioning into those core strategies, let's explore some actionable steps that our listeners can take to start building a passive income portfolio, shall we?
Yes, let's dive into that.
So let's dive into some core strategies and rules of thumb for building that passive income portfolio. You know, one of the foundational elements is really understanding your asset allocation.
Right, and that really sets the stage for how your portfolio will perform over time, doesn't it?
Exactly. A common rule of thumb is the 70-30th split. 70% in stocks, 30% in bonds. This can vary based on your risk tolerance, but it's a good starting point.
So if someone is more risk-averse, they might lean towards a heavier bond allocation?
Yes, absolutely. Bonds can provide more stability, especially as you get closer to retirement. But for younger folks, a stock-heavy portfolio could offer more growth potential, as they have time to ride out market fluctuations.
And we can't forget about tax-advantaged accounts, right? Those can really enhance your returns over time.
Exactly. Utilizing accounts like a 401k or an IRA is key. With a 401k, you can contribute pre-tax money, which lowers your taxable income for the year. And with IRAs, especially Roth IRAs, you can potentially withdraw money tax-free in retirement.
That's a huge advantage. So when someone is figuring out how much to contribute, what's a good guideline?
A common recommendation is to aim for at least 15% of your income, including any employer match. That way, you're building a solid foundation for your retirement.
And if someone is just starting out, they might feel like that's a lot. Where should they begin?
If 15% feels out of reach, start where you can. Maybe it's 5% or 10%, but the key is to increase it gradually. Many plans allow you to auto-increase contributions each year, which is a great way to stay on track without feeling the pinch.
That makes sense. Now, moving into other areas, real estate can be a big player in a passive income strategy, right?
Absolutely. Investing in rental properties can provide consistent cash flow. Plus, it can appreciate over time. Just remember, being a landlord comes with responsibilities, so it's not entirely passive.
Right, it's more like semi-passive income, I suppose. What about real estate investment trusts, or REITs?
Great point. REITs allow you to invest in real estate without the hassle of managing properties yourself. They typically pay dividends, making them a solid choice for income-focused investors.
Speaking of income, let's touch on annuities. They can be a bit confusing, but they offer guaranteed income, right?
Yes, they do. Annuities can provide you with a steady stream of income in retirement, which can be comforting. But it's important to consider the fees and surrender charges that might come with them.
So they can be a good part of a diversified income strategy, but maybe not the entire strategy?
Exactly. Diversification is key. You don't want all your eggs in one basket. A mix of income sources, Social Security, pensions, annuities, real estate, and investments can really help you weather different market conditions.
Speaking of Social Security, it's important to optimize that too, isn't it?
Definitely. The age at which you claim Social Security can have a big impact on your monthly benefit. Claiming at 62 might seem tempting, but waiting until 70 can significantly increase your payout.
So it's really about balancing your needs now versus your needs later?
Exactly. If you can afford to wait, it can pay off in the long run. Additionally, consider your life expectancy and health. Those factors can influence your decision.
Okay. Moving on to withdrawal strategies. I've heard a lot about the 4% rule. Can you explain that?
Sure, the 4% rule suggests that if you withdraw 4% of your retirement savings each year, you're likely to have enough to last 30 years. But it's important to adjust based on market conditions and your lifestyle needs.
Right, it sounds simple, but there's more to it. For instance, if the market takes a downturn, withdrawing that same percentage could deplete your funds faster.
That's a critical point. This is where a bucket strategy can come into play. You essentially divide your investments into different buckets based on when you'll need the money. For example, you might have a short-term bucket with cash for the first few years, a medium-term bucket with bonds, and a long-term bucket with stocks for growth.
That's a smart way to manage risk. It allows you to avoid selling off investments at a loss during a downturn.
Exactly. It gives you flexibility and can help maintain your portfolio's longevity.
And what about tax savings techniques? There are a few strategies people might not think about, right?
Absolutely. Tax loss harvesting is one example. You can sell investments that have lost value to offset gains elsewhere, which can lower your tax bill.
That's a clever way to keep more of your money working for you.
Also, consider contributing to health savings accounts, HSAs. They offer triple tax benefits. Contributions are tax-deductible, the money grows tax-free, and withdrawals for qualified medical expenses are also tax-free.
Wow, that's a powerful tool, especially as healthcare costs can be significant in retirement.
Definitely. And don't overlook required minimum distributions or RMDs. Once you hit 72, you're mandated to start withdrawing from your tax-deferred accounts. This is where proper planning can help manage your tax burden.
It sounds like there's a lot to keep track of.
It can feel overwhelming, but that's why having a solid plan and possibly a trusted advisor can make a huge difference.
And, unfortunately, there are some common pitfalls to avoid too.
Absolutely. Many people underestimate their needs in retirement, or they overestimate how much they'll spend, which can lead to issues down the road.
That's a great segue into our next topic. Let's explore those pitfalls and how to navigate them.
So, Emily, I think we should dive into some of the common pitfalls that people hit when they're building a passive income portfolio. It's pretty easy to make mistakes if you're not aware of them.
Absolutely, David. One of the big ones I see is the sequence of returns risk. It's often overlooked, but it can really have a massive impact on retirement savings, right?
Yes, exactly. So let's say you retire and you start withdrawing from your portfolio. If the market takes a downturn right after you retire, you could end up selling your investments at a loss to fund your living expenses. That can really hurt your long-term sustainability.
Right! And I think a lot of people don't realize that if they're pulling money out during those down years, it can create a vicious cycle.
Exactly. I had a client, let's call her Susan. She retired in 2008. Right when the market was crashing. Early on, she was withdrawing a fixed amount each year. By the time the market recovered, she had sold off a significant portion of her investments at a loss. It really diminished her portfolio's ability to bounce back.
That's a tough lesson. So, what's the solution? How can folks avoid that situation?
Well, one strategy is to create a cash reserve. Think of it like a safety net. If you have, say, 3 to 5 years worth of expenses in cash or cash equivalents, you won't have to sell off investments during a downturn. This allows your portfolio to recover while you're still meeting your needs.
That makes a lot of sense. Another pitfall I see is ignoring taxes in retirement. A lot of people think they can just withdraw from their accounts without considering the tax implications.
Yes, that's a big one. Many retirees are surprised by how much of their withdrawals are taxed. For instance, if someone is taking money out of a traditional IRA, those withdrawals are taxed as ordinary income. If they're not planning for that, it can really throw a wrench in their budget.
I can see that. And then there's the issue of underestimating healthcare costs, right?
Definitely. Healthcare can be one of the largest expenses in retirement. I mean, people often think Medicare will cover most of their needs, but there are still deductibles, copays, and, long-term care considerations.
Yeah, I recently read a study suggesting that a couple retiring at age 65 could need upwards of $300,000 just for healthcare expenses in retirement. That's a staggering number.
It really is. I had a couple. Let's call them Tom and Linda. They planned for a comfortable retirement, but didn't account for the rising costs of healthcare. After a few years, they found themselves dipping into their savings more than they anticipated, all because of unexpected medical expenses.
That must have been stressful for them. So how can people better prepare for that?
Well, it's crucial to do some research and have a realistic understanding of healthcare costs. Setting aside a dedicated health savings account, HSA, or considering long-term care insurance can help mitigate those expenses.
That's a great point. Now, shifting gears a bit, let's talk about asset allocation. I think that's another area where people can really trip up.
Right. Many retirees tend to become overly conservative too quickly. They think they should move all their assets to cash or bonds as they approach retirement, which can hinder growth potential.
Exactly. I had a listener write in about her parents. They moved everything to bonds thinking it was safer. But with interest rates so low, their portfolio barely kept pace with inflation.
That's a classic mistake. A well-balanced portfolio should still have some growth potential, even in retirement. Maintaining some equities can be important for long-term growth, especially if you plan to be retired for 20 or 30 years.
So it's about striking a balance, right? Not being too aggressive, but also not being so conservative that you miss out on growth opportunities.
Exactly. And then there's the decision around Social Security. Many people claim benefits too early, not realizing the long-term consequences.
Yes, that's a big one. I've heard stories of people who started taking their benefits at 62, only to find out later that they missed out on a significant amount per month by not waiting until their full retirement age or even age 70.
Right. I had a client named Mike. He was eager to claim early, thinking he'd need the money immediately. But after running the numbers, we showed him how much more he would receive by waiting. It made a huge difference in his overall financial picture.
So it's really important for people to understand their options and the potential impact of when they start claiming Social Security.
Exactly. And another red flag to look out for is if you're relying too heavily on a single income source. It's risky to have all your eggs in one basket, especially if that's your pension or Social Security.
That's such a good point. Diversification in income sources can provide more stability.
Right. And it's also about being proactive. Regularly reviewing your financial plan and making adjustments can help catch problems before they become major issues.
So true. It's like a health checkup, but for your finances.
Yes. And if you do find yourself in a tricky situation, there are ways to recover. It's never too late to adjust your strategy, reassess your spending, or even consider part-time work if it's feasible.
Absolutely. I think the key takeaway here is to stay informed and proactive. It's all about planning ahead and being adaptable.
Couldn't agree more. And for those listening, if you're unsure about your own situation, don't hesitate to reach out for help. Sometimes just talking it through with a professional can provide clarity.
That's a great note to end on, and it leads us perfectly into our next steps for listeners who want to take control of their retirement planning.
Yes, let's discuss some actionable steps that can guide them along the way. All right. So now that we've laid the groundwork for building a passive income portfolio, let's dive into some actionable steps you can take right now.
Yeah, I love that. What's the first thing folks should do?
Well, the very first step is to assess your current financial situation. Take a good look at your assets, liabilities, and income sources. It's kind of like taking inventory before you start building a new project.
Makes sense. So how do they go about doing that?
There are some great online tools out there. For instance, you might want to check out platforms like Vanguard, Fidelity, or Charles Schwab. They all have retirement calculators that can help you understand where you stand and what you might need to reach your goals.
Those calculators are super handy. What would you suggest people do after they assess their current situation?
After that, I'd recommend creating a savings and investment plan. Start small, even if it's just a few $100s a month. Identify what percentage of your income you want to allocate towards your passive income streams.
Right, and it doesn't have to be overwhelming, just a little bit at a time, yeah?
Exactly. And you'll want to diversify your income sources too. Think about different streams: rental income, dividends from stocks, maybe even peer-to-peer lending.
So it's about building a mix that works for you. What about tools for tracking all of that?
Great question. Using financial planning apps can really help. Apps like Mint or Personal Capital can keep you on top of your budget and investments. They give you a clear picture of your financial health.
And let's not forget about tax implications. That can be a big factor in retirement planning.
Absolutely. It's crucial to understand how your income will be taxed. Tools like TurboTax or H&R Block can help you navigate your tax situation. And don't hesitate to consult a tax professional if you're feeling lost.
So keeping track of everything and understanding taxes is key. What about ongoing habits?
Yes, developing good habits is essential. Start by reviewing your portfolio quarterly. That way, you can adjust your investments based on performance and any changes in your goals.
That's a good idea. And running retirement projections regularly can help too, right?
Exactly. Set a schedule to run those projections at least once a year. It'll give you insight into whether you're on track to meet your goals or if you need to pivot.
And if someone feels like they're behind, it's never too late to improve the plan, right?
Absolutely. Many people think they're too far gone, but that's rarely the case. Small changes can make a big difference over time.
Are there any books or podcasts you'd recommend for our listeners to dive deeper into retirement planning?
For sure. The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins is a must-read. It's straightforward and really empowering. And for podcasts, I'd suggest Choose FI. They cover a range of financial independence topics.
Those are great suggestions. It's all about continuous learning, isn't it?
Yes. Stay curious and keep educating yourself. There's always something new to learn in the world of finance.
So, with all these steps and tools in mind, folks can really take charge of their retirement planning.
Definitely. And remember, every little bit helps. So don't feel overwhelmed. Just take it one step at a time.
With these tools in your pocket, you're ready to strengthen your retirement plan. Let's recap what we've covered today.
Well, as we wrap up, let's quickly recap some of those key takeaways about building a passive income portfolio from scratch.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest points was really about starting small, right? You don't have to dive in head first. Just begin with what you can manage and gradually expand your investments.
Exactly. And remember the importance of diversification. It's not just about one type of income stream. Spreading your investments across different assets can really help mitigate risk.
Right, and we talked about the power of reinvesting those earnings, like letting your money work for you over time instead of just cashing out right away. That compounding can really add up.
Absolutely. And don't forget the significance of having a solid plan. Setting clear goals is crucial for guiding your investment decisions. It gives you a roadmap to follow.
And finally, we emphasized the value of education. Staying informed about your investments can empower you to make better choices.
It really can. Building and protecting your retirement wealth is a journey, and every step counts. So keep pushing forward, stay curious, and don't hesitate to seek advice when you need it.
Yes, we'd love to hear from you. If you found something valuable in today's episode, please like, subscribe, and share your biggest takeaway or any questions in the comments. And if you know someone who's planning for retirement or already in it, share this episode with them.
And don't miss our next episode, where we'll dive into a crucial topic, how to invest in bonds safely for retirement. It's going to be packed with insights.
We can't wait to share that with you. Thanks so much for joining us today. And remember, you're not alone on this journey.
Take care, everyone, and happy planning.
Bye for now.